Welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs at Fuego. We're documenting the journey of amazing entrepreneurs, one digital footprint at a time. Harry Clark.
Hello.
It's truly an honor. It truly is an honor. You travel around the world,
Yes.
telling millionaires the mistakes that they make.
Well, or at
Part
least,
of it.
or at least helping them to prevent making mistakes. Yes.
And how do you do that?
Well, in writing the book, I interviewed 30 entrepreneurs that made and then lost between 10 and 200 million.
Oh,
Correlated the risk factors, and they tell their stories about how they made it and what took them out. And each chapter ends by the lessons learned.
is there a leitmotif to all of them? Did you find that there were some commonalities in all of them? It didn't matter whether it was 20, it didn't matter whether it was 300 million. What was the lesson?
Yes, so there are a multitude of business and personal lessons, but really the one commonality is uber optimism. And the interesting thing is, to be an entrepreneur, right, you have to have tons of optimism, right? Because everyone's going to tell you, oh, you're an idiot, don't do that, it'll never work, right? The whole world. And so you have to be, this over optimistic person. So what I found though is that behavior, which is necessary to get you launched, once you've accumulated a certain level of wealth, you've got to throttle that back. Otherwise, the same behavior that it takes to make it will be the same that causes you to lose everything.
It's easier than, well, I don't want to use the word easy gratuitously, but it is the write-up. You find that the entrepreneur can the money's coming. And it's going to come as a result of the good idea, the enthusiasm, hard work, etc. So you all know that, and you recognize that.
Yes.
But once you get to that level, and you have all this money over here, what you're saying is that you, as the entrepreneur, you're probably your own worst enemy.
Yes, absolutely. And so there are structural things you need to do, but really it's not just the entrepreneur getting wiped out. When an entrepreneurial venture that, let's say, in my case, my last company, I got it to 100 million in sales, 460 employees, and they all ended up losing their jobs. I mean, not only did I lost a marriage of 20 years, the 460 fantastic team members all lost their jobs and the impact on their family. One of my daughters attempted suicide twice. She almost died. The ripple effect it can be horrendous.
How do you, as an entrepreneur, Harry, how do you get out of that place? Because you are at the center of the storm, and from there everything ripples out, and you cannot help but feel that sense of insecurity, guilt. I caused this. How do you get out of it?
Well, in my case, I did 10 hours of yoga every week.
There's a yoga studio right
kidding.
here.
I know. No, but I mean, to help me keep my
sanity.
Sanity. But a huge lesson learned that no entrepreneurship program in the world teaches is that the pizza parlor down the street or the taqueria, if they go out of business, bam, they're back on their feet in 6 months or so. When you've accumulated wealth, if you get wiped out, it's 5 to 10 years to cycle through it. So you're going to lose 5 to 10 years. And my God, if I had known that with all the education that I had, if I had learned that lesson along the way, I never would have gotten wiped out. Because my assumption is, I know how to make money, I'm going to land on my feet again and rebuild it all. I don't care. Worst case, if I get wiped out, no big deal. Holy smokes, if I knew that it was going to be 5 or 10 years of agony, wow, it would have been a totally different result.
And you're hoping that lightning strikes twice because you know what your talents are. And at the same time, after this experience of losing it all, then you begin to realize I'm just human. Do I have the wherewithal to do it? I mean, there's a lot of insecurity
Yeah.
that you have to overcome.
Yes. Well, and yes, you're absolutely right. Well, let me flip that over the other way.
Sure.
I've seen it over and over again where an entrepreneur such as myself, I founded and grew 2 Inc. 500 companies, and both wildly successful. And if your first company is successful, your second one probably won't be.
Huh.
So my second company was wildly successful, but I made a series of decisions that were stupid, which led me to getting wiped out. And that's the overconfidence from, I did it once, I'm going to do it again. And the reality is, behavioral economics teaches us that luck is so underrated. So yes, the fact statistically, 80% of businesses don't
fail.
make it,
Yep.
right? And so that overconfidence of, I did it once, I'm going to do it again. Anyway.
The book is Mistakes Millionaires Make by Harry Clark. The time gets shorter, though, right? I mean, you made it, and I don't know how old you were when you made the first millions, and then the second company.
I mean, before I was 30, I was making $1 million a year, and I sold my first company. I think I was 35 or so, and I had to a Fortune 100 company. I had a pile of cash.
You're on top of the mountain.
Yes, I could have
Invincible.
I could have lived 10 years worth of with the money that I had.
If you
made.
didn't do one more thing, you could have just, honey,
Yes.
we're just going to have a
Right.
great time. We're
Yeah.
going to go to Fiji
Yeah,
every
life was
week.
fantastic. Exactly.
But
Yes.
no, your entrepreneurial spirit is telling you something else. You got to
Yes.
do something more.
So I went in, and initially I limited my exposure. It's $150,000, no big deal. Soon, as it went from 7 to 15 to 30 to 50 to 100 million in sales, all of a sudden my risk exposure kept getting larger and larger. And I remember the sense of, okay, well, I guess we're going to go all
in.
chips in. And again, stupid decision.
One would say, the Monday morning quarterback will say, well, you should have learned your lessons. But that's easy to say Monday.
Yes, yeah, yeah, absolutely. The stories in this book, and the reason I interviewed 30 wildly successful entrepreneurs that all got wiped out is that I knew that if this was Harry Clark's story, right? The successful entrepreneur would look at it and say, oh, he was an idiot. I would never make that mistake. So by having 30 wildly successful entrepreneurs that all got wiped out, you can't not read this and say, whoa.
This could happen to me.
Yes. I need to keep this in mind.
Were they hard to find, those 30 people?
I am so blessed. For 22 years, I've been a member of Young Presidents Organization. My goodness, you're going to die. So they have a network. In this case, it was the Deal Network. I sent out an email post to the 25,000 members worldwide, went to lunch, came back from lunch. I had 12 emails saying, oh, I got wiped out. I can't wait to tell my story.
That is crazy.
Yes, yeah, because that is part and has been part of the entrepreneurial journey. All I'm trying to do is help temper it down a little bit. My goodness, if I can reduce the number of new ventures or entrepreneurial ventures that explode by 10%, the economic impact is fantastic, and the social impact.
You lost grandly, and it's all physical stuff, right? At the end of the day, it's money, it's properties, it's cars, whatever, lifestyle. Did it ever cross your mind, I gotta end this? I gotta end my own life.
Yes, yeah. I mean, yes, absolutely, yeah. But yes.
But And the reason that I ask
Yeah,
you is
yeah.
because you had to have the fortitude. Something inside you said, I can't. I gotta
Yes.
revive myself.
Right.
I gotta do it.
Yes.
I gotta win.
So again, the blessing is that part of the makeup of an entrepreneur, right, is we don't give up very easily, do we? Right? So optimistic in the outcome and willing to work your butt off, right?
Yep.
Two very
You bet.
important
You bet.
factors. But so that superseded the easy solution.
I admire you, man. I
Yeah.
mean, and thank you for sharing that. I know it's a very personal fact to share, but these 30 people, I can almost assure you, they probably went through that thought.
Yes. Yeah. It's very common.
Harry, man, whew. I'm just, I've made my, not the 30 millions and up, but I made my millions and I've lost them too, and now I'm back to my next one. So
All right, there you go. Anything I can do to help, I'm happy.
You are here. That's how you
All
help me.
right, great.
With that,
All right.
we're out.
Welcome to the remix. Prestige.